crunch time in Atlantic City as play continues on day 3 of the 2006 United States Poker Championship. Just 62 players remain in the hunt, and only 27 will share the spoils of over $2.5 million in prize money. The battle of patience.
Sorry, guys. I know it's taking a long time.
Versus pressure. Begins right now.
There.
From the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, New Jersey, this is the 2006 United States Poker Championship. Hello, everybody. I'm Lon McCarron, along with Norman Chad. You know, there comes a moment in every competition when at least one or two people break away from the pack and identify themselves as the ones to beat. Some people are great front runners, while others need someone else to assume that role to fire up their competitive juices. Well, so far, Norman, at this USPC, no one's willing to take on that role yet.
Well, it's a simple question, Lon. Who's going to step up and get a stranglehold on this baby? Will it be two-time World Series bracelet winner Scott Fishman? Will it be the last man standing from last year's USPC final table, chip leader Mike Santoro? Will it be Texas pro David Baker or Philadelphia amateur Eric Bankoff? Or will it be any one of half a dozen whiz kids who are still roaming around, including the man I've staked my personal reputation on, Eric Crane?
All right, let's meet some of the players at our arena feature table who may be the ones to break away from the pack.
My name's Devin Miller. I'm here from California. Barry Worthman, Beverly Hills, Michigan. Bernard Lee from Wayland, Massachusetts.
Karate Mike Santor from Galloway, New Jersey, trying to make another appearance at the final table.
Karate Mike is well on his way to doing just that. Actually, he is the only player from last year's final table still alive in this year's tournament, and one of the very few players with a chip stack of more than 200,000. He leads this feature table in the Taj Arena, and with ace queen offsuit, he's going to raise it up. He makes it 5,000 to go. Devin Miller folded. Worthman also with ace queen.
Is this where I bet again? No, you're not just going to call, right?
He too will invest 5,000.
It up right there, folks.
Smooth call. A smooth call. Smooth call.
Action on Bernard Lee. He's got a queen with a deuce, and they go into the muck. Sean Chaconis folds. And so we have two players going to the flop, Worthman and Santoro, both with ace-queen. So we appear headed for a split pot. Now here's the flop. The flop is 3, 5, 6. A couple of clubs there for Worthman, though.
Worthman, the only one who can make a flush.
Santoro, the first to bet, though, makes it 12,000.
Karate Mike says Taekwondo is very helpful for his mental and physical discipline, but I think that's just a line he uses with the ladies.
All right.
Worthman not going to invest the 12,000. Mike Santoro gets that much stronger.
Yeah, to the aggressor go the spoils in that hand. Mike struck first.
So Worthman is left to wonder exactly what he gave up to the tournament chip leader. We move from the arena table to the featured table in the Taj Poker Room. You see Shane Schlager, the top dog at this table with over 182,000. Thomas Walrus in third place with 91,100.
The Walrus, the most stylish fellow at this table. He's got that 007 feel to him.
Action folds around to Daryl Ozias with ace-9 offsuit. He's going to limp in. And now Eli Levy with queen-jack makes the call. And there are the cards of Walrus. From Helsinki, Finland, ace-jack, he makes the call.
He's not from Helsinki, Finland. He's from the Sky Bar.
Three players to the flop. Walrus with the advantage right now with that ace-jack. The flop is 6-10 jack. Walrus and Levy pair their jacks, but Walrus with the best kicker, and he checks it. Ozias checks over to Levy.
Levy, born in Israel, now lives in North Miami.
And he's figuring out how much he wants to bet. And he says 3,500 should do it. Walrus now. Not adverse to taking risks, loves skydiving. And he's going to raise it up to 6,500 more. Ozias folds.
I'm all in.
And Levy moves all in. 46,500 more.
You're doing that, you know that.
So Levy putting the heat on the young Walrus.
And this is a tough call for Walrus? I mean, you just don't know if you've run into a set or two pair. Certainly not automatic here. And look at him, Lon. That's the look I've been trying to master for years, unsuccessfully.
I call.
You just need the youth, the hair, and the glasses. And Walrus makes the call. And so Levy will be in for his tournament life and way behind.
I'm not there yet.
Sorry, 10 jack.
Yeah, so did I, but I just figured it doesn't look like the man who likes to call.
So Walrus has Levy on the ropes for his tournament life.
Turn card now is a 9 of hearts, and Levy with an open-ended straight draw.
Levy's going to need a king, queen, or 8, or he is eliminated.
It's a 4, and Walrus wins the pot and eliminates Eli Levy in the process. And a calculated gamble by Walrus pays off.
That was a good play, though. I came this close to laying him down.
What do you mean? You should lay it down.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah?
But you seem nervous.
I would have laid it down.
You seem too nervous.
If Eli Levy didn't want to be called, he shouldn't have made a bet.
To the outer tables we go. Former tournament leader Eric Bankoff looks nervous, too. He's facing an all-in from Tommy Wang.
You got aces, Tommy? I don't really know how to answer it. I know.
This call would be for a huge chunk of Bankoff's chips.
I haven't seen him not show the nuts. That's the thing.
Bankoff checking his cell phone for an answer.
Tommy Wang looking cool.
You can't win these things if you don't gamble, but I'm afraid to gamble with you, man. You couldn't show like one bad hand today?
Eric wants to pull the trigger,
I'm going to give you respect, Tommy.
but indeed he folds. So Bankoff saves his chips for later jousts, and Tommy Wang pulls his chips back out of harm's way. Elsewhere at these outer tables, Brett Ritchie's moved all in with pocket 8s. He's up against Jordan Morgan's pocket 9s. The flop brings Morgan a set of 9s and Ritchie a straight draw. A king on the turn, no help to Ritchie. The river card is a deuce, and that means Brett Ritchie, the rapper from New Jersey, has been knocked out. All his chips go to Jordan Morgan, who is once again the tournament leader with over $260,000. We have three-way action at the arena table. Bernie Lee, Dylan Membrino, and Johnny Boy Vasquez each looking for help on the flop. Anybody's ball game. 5-4 king. Vasquez gets the best of that, pairing his 5, and he checks. Bernard Lee bets 7,500
with nothing. When Bernard Lee finished 13th at the main event in 2005, he kept touching my sports coat for good luck. Now, who would ever want to touch my clothes?
Exactly. Membrino folded. Now Vasquez will make the call, not buying whatever Bernard Lee's selling.
And Bernard usually is a very tight player, tight reputation, so people usually get out of the way when he bets.
The jack on the turn, no improvement to Lee's hand. Vasquez checks again.
12-5.
And Bernard Lee bets again.
So Bernie Lee throws out a second bluff.
This one's 12,500.
Vasquez answered the first one. Can he answer this one?
And with just pocket 5s, the answer is no. Vasquez folds. Bernard Lee wins.
And he double checks his bluff cards. Look, I won with nothing.
So a little uncharacteristic moxie from Bernard Lee allows him to pad his chip stack. He is now over 86,000 chips here at the 2006 United States Poker Championship. Welcome back to Atlantic City.
You want Mentos?
The fresh maker?
Yeah.
I'll take a fresh maker.
Not much time to brush and floss here, so a little Mentos will have to suffice.
Did you poison this so I can play bad poker?
Sorry?
Did you poison this? So
Yeah, for sure. You play bad enough as it is, so, you know. No need.
You would think so with my chip stack,
That's
right?
Thomas Walrus offering a little international goodwill to Matt Vital.
I'm just a friendly thing.
And there we see Kiyo Ishigi lending a more international flair to the proceedings with his Swedish jacket.
The closest the Shiggies come to Stockholm are the Swedish meatballs at the buffet here.
Ishigi pushed all in, was called by Brandon Adams. Next in line was Eric Penayutu. He went all in over the top of Adams.
Ishigi really working his chewing gum watching that bet.
And now a big decision for Adams. Does he want to pay the big price to call this?
Good.
And he says no, and he folds.
I fold it. You fold? Yeah.
So Ishigi now will go heads up against Panayiotou, who has pocket aces. King 10 for Ishigi.
Ishigi all in for his tournament life, way behind.
And now the flop comes out. And Ishigi got one king, but still trails the aces. Now the turn card is another king. Ishigi leads.
Panayiotou can still knock him out with a river ace.
The river card is a 10, and Ishigi actually hits the full house on the river, and he will triple up. Eric Panayiotou cannot put away Ishigi, and so Akio Ishigi triples up. He's still well under 100,000, so not a big player yet in this USPC. Back to the feature table in the Taj Poker Room. In the background, you see last year's winner, James Caparuccio, who's keeping an eye on his home game buddy, Matt Vitale. The last one of that home gang trying to survive here at this tournament.
I'm all in.
He's not in this hand, but Jeff King is with pocket aces. He moves all in. That is the king-queen suited of Lucas Michael.
He's in the big blind, but if you're Michael, three guys are in the pot in front of you. One is all in. It's an easy laydown. Unless you're my Uncle Nathan, who wouldn't lay down anything.
He does fold.
In the fours, bring the money.
Thomas Walrus made the initial 4,000 chip raise with pocket jacks.
And for Walrus, it's a different kettle of fish.
Raise with pocket jacks.
And for Walrus, it's a different kettle of fish than Lucas Michael. This is a tougher laydown. I mean, if you're Walrus, only three hands beat you. Do you know which three, Lon?
Yes.
What?
Kings, queens, and aces.
Oh, God, I thought you missed that day in class. You are correct. So it's really tough to lay down these jacks.
He makes the call. Syracuse Chris Cipralidis will fold. And King turns over the aces with a big advantage against the jacks.
I owe you 100. Twice I called all in with jacks today.
When Walrus called all in with jacks earlier today, he told Schlager that he would give him $100 if he did it again. He did it again. He owes Shane a C-note.
Now, Walrus might lose a lot more than that if his jacks do not improve against King's pocket aces.
Make some big moves earlier on.
And here we go to the flop. It is queen, 6-10. Little help for Walrus.
King or a 9?
I think you'd like a jack.
You'd rather have the 9.
No, it's good for TV. A king is good for TV.
You know what's good for TV? If a UFO lands in the middle of the flop.
6 on the turn. Again, no help. King, one card from doubling up.
3 of spades.
Walrus would need a jack to knock out Jeff King.
And now the river card. It is a 5 of clubs, and King's aces do hold up. And he doubles his chip stack at the expense of the friendly Finn. And to make it worse, Walrus owes that $100 to Schlager. Hey, and he pays off.
So your shiz?
I'm witness.
Well, King won 70,000 chips, but Schlager got $100 cash.
Huh? I mean, I feel bad taking 100. That's an easy call.
I'm right with Schlager, Norman. You know what I say about pocket jacks. Elsewhere, yet another aces versus jacks confrontation. Greg Baird has the aces, Scott Bowman pocket jacks. And Matthew Glantz is joining the party with 7-9 of clubs. He moved all in after the flop with straight and flush draws. The board helped no one. Greg Baird and his aces hold up, knocking off 2 players for the price of 1. Scott Bowman and his jacks came up short. Matthew Glantz missed his draws, and he too is sent to the rail.
And nobody ever looks happy walking out that door. It must take forever to get your car back from valet.
Back to the featured table at the poker room. It's Walrus now with pocket aces up against Lucas Michael with king queen. They go heads up to the flop. The flop is king 6-8. Michael picks up a pair of kings
All in.
and a flush draw and goes all in.
It's just getting sicker and sicker by the moment.
You want to gamble?
52,000 plus.
700.
Who the hell goes all in for 50-something into 10K pot?
The guy to my left.
That's a good answer. And you got to feel for Thomas Walrus. Another tough decision for about half of his chips.
This is so sick.
A true coin flip between Michael and Walrus.
And if Michael already had the flush, which I admit would be unlikely considering his bet, then if you're Walrus, you're drawing dead, calling is all in.
This is so sick.
And wow, he gives up the aces. Walrus suspicious of something out there and just shied away.
That's a sick laydown, man. I'm not sure if that's. I think he laid down the winner.
He's got a pair and a flush draw. It's like, and there's.
You were probably ahead.
I don't feel like gambling away half my stack when I don't want. I don't need to.
All right, from the poker room to the arena, and we find Tom Worthman with an ace. He doesn't have two, does he? He has pocket aces also.
You know, I got a theory. Every deck at the Taj today has 6 aces. They just removed a couple of 4s from each deck and replaced them with aces.
I'd love to play with that deck. Worthman with those aces.
I raised 4.
He announces 4. He threw in a little more than that.
Raised to 4 and raised to 4, so it's a raise to 4.
So what you announce is what your raise is, and he'll get a rebate.
Well, he doesn't get to raise as much as he wanted to.
And the white hat, Dylan Membrino, considers, and he folds. Eric Haber says no thanks, as does Vasquez. Karate Mike Santoro looks and folds. From the big blind, Miller will play with King 10.
Can't you just give me a break? No, if you just left your chips out the way they're supposed to be, I would have.
Now the flop is deuce 10. King Miller takes the lead with kings up. Wow. Worthman first to act with his pocket aces, makes it 8,000. Devin Miller. Makes a raise to 16,000.
The minimum raise he could make.
I'm all in.
I call.
An all-in and a call. Worthman at risk as the shorter stack.
And Worthman a near disaster. One mistake led to another for him. First a small pre-flop raise, and he wanted to raise more. And now he decides to go all in after he has been raised on the flops.
See who gets this.
Yeah, that's brutal that you had to say 4,000. I wouldn't have called 6,500.
So Worthman trying to turn his luck around. And now the turn card.
I had 2 hearts.
Or a
5 of diamonds. Worthman still coming up short.
5 raise.
Only out.
No, you get a deuce or a 5. Ace is up.
Miller's right.
you
An
got a lot
ace,
more, Harley.
deuce, or 5 keeps Worthman alive.
River card is a 10, and Miller puts the hammer down, hits the full boat, and knocks off Worthman. Devin Miller now over 236,000.
It's Miller time, baby.
No hand is safe, and the casualties continue to mount.
The style here is push, 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 so you're not going to limp into hands. You're going to have to play hands. You're going to have to wait to get the cards, then you push. If you're a short stack, there's no other way to play it.
Back in Atlantic City, we check in on the chip count at the arena table, and Devin Miller is now the man to beat, over 236,000. Mike Santoro in second place at this table with 225,000. And the whole cards of Santoro, more pocket aces. Norman, can you believe it?
Is it a special promotion here in Atlantic City?
Santoro says raise. He makes it 4,200.
It doesn't seem possible. It's like pocket aces are popping out of slot machine.
Devin Miller has pocket kings. He says re-raise. It's 10,000 more now. And let's see who else wants to tangle with the 2 top stacks at this table. So far, nobody. And it's back to Santoro. He says re-raise. So aces versus king. 25,000 more to Miller.
Well, that re-raise has got to signal something to Devin Miller. Santoro's pretty tight. He bet from early position, and now he's raised back. If I'm Devin Miller, I'm figuring I'm up against pocket aces or maybe pocket queens. Nothing worse.
Miller makes the call. This could be dangerous. The 2 top stacks going heads up to the flop. 10-9 queen. Miller got a little help picking up a straight draw.
50,000.
Santoro fires with 50.
And this is just still very bad news for Miller, because, you know, if Santoro started with the pocket aces, Devin's still behind. And if Santoro had the pocket queens, now he's way behind.
Miller has already committed almost 40,000 chips to this pot.
Miller just 22 years old, a la Phil Ivey. He started playing in card rooms when he was underage, snuck in, and he's very mature for his age from a card standpoint.
He's looking like he's enjoying this moment.
Well, this is tougher to get away from because he did pick up that straight draw and a backdoor flush draw. He should release it, but it's tough to release this hand.
And he makes the call of 50,000.
It kind of hedges his bet there just with a call. You know, I do the same thing when I get married with a prenup.
All right, to the turn we go. Santoro's aces against the kings. And now the turn card. Another 9.
I'm all in.
And all in. We knew it was going to get there, and quickly Miller gives it up.
I almost folded on the flop. To tell you the truth. I really should have folded on the flop.
Yeah, I agree with Devin's self-analysis. He got away from it one card too late. He should have folded on the flop.
And with that big win, Mike Santoro becomes the first player at this year's USPC to crack the 300,000 chip mark. He's now at 317,000. To the outer tables, and another Atlantic City favorite, Ray Lynn pushed all in after the flop with a club flush draw. Alex Jacob calls him down with pocket queens.
Good call. I told you don't have a club.
Lynn with a 10 of clubs, but the hearts on the turn and river seal his fate. Alex Jacob takes the pot and is very strong in this tournament now, over 250,000 chips.
He made the exact same suicide bluff yesterday, and I saw it. How can you do it again?
You need to call when you're not the one making it.
Exactly.
When you're the one making it, it's pretty hard.
David Baker's right. Jacob made that look easy, but it wasn't.
Back inside the arena, Devin Miller trying to get back some of his lost chips, and he thinks pocket tens might be just the thing to do it. He raises it up to 4,000. Action over to Eric Haber.
Just because I just raised with kings and lost doesn't mean I'm raising with nothing every hand.
Miller telling Haber, I'm not on tilt. I got a real hand.
Mullen.
I call.
Haber with an all-in and a quick call from Miller.
Quick and correct from Devin Miller.
Haber now will be at risk, but he does have 2 overcards to Miller's pocket tens.
But indeed, we have got ourselves a race. On your mark, get set, go!
We need a starter gun in poker, I think. The flop is 6-8 deuce. Miller's still good.
And Haber can find very little solace in that flop.
2 more cards to sweat for Devin Miller and for Haber, who's all in. It is a 10, and that ends the hand right there. Devin Miller scores a set, and Eric Haber is gone from the USPC. And Devin Miller needed a quick fix, and he got it. He gets healthy after knocking off Eric Haber.
I'm not big on the hug. Even handshakes worry me.
All right, let's move from the arena table to the featured table in the Taj Poker Room. 3 going to the flop. Lucas Michael with pocket 5, Schlager with 8-6, Vital with ace-4. The flop is ace-10-5. Michael hits a set of 5s. Vital paired his ace. Schlager came up empty, and he's betting.
Shane splashing around for no reason. I guess he likes getting his pants wet.
1,800 to Vital. He's got a pair of aces, and his buddy James Caparuccio over his shoulder.
Well, the last of the Capo crew is about to be shipped back to that fish tank of a home game in Long Island. I'm coming to that home game.
All in, man.
Vital moves all in.
See? I can crack that home game. He's moving all in. He's going to lose them all right here.
For 5,800. Now to Lucas Michael.
Well, what's taking him so long?
Raise.
Set of 5s. He announces a raise. He wants to isolate Vital, and Schlager folds immediately. So it will be heads up. Vital all in with a pair of aces against a set of 5s of Lucas Michael.
And it's all but over for Vital. He needs some running cards in an awful hurry. It's ugly right now.
Caparuccio and Kevin Dayton from that Long Island game looking on anxiously. Lucas Michael with a chance to knock off the last home game buddy.
Already.
Turn card is a jack, and that does it right there. No runner for Vital. Lucas Michael wins the hand, and Matt Vital is gone from this 2006 USPC.
Mark my words, me and my bodyguards are heading for that Long Island home game. I'll crack it.
There will be no back-to-back Long Island home game champ.
We came down here with a nice crew. Unfortunately, I'm the last one in it. Got a couple bad beats, but you know, it was a good time, and it's not the last you'll see of us. I can guarantee that.
Welcome back to the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City and the 2006 United States Poker Championship. Let's get back to the action at the arena table. No surprise that Devin Miller is in the hand. This boy likes to play, but playing 5-3 offsuit. He raised it up to 4,500. Got a call from Eric Cajolet with 9-7 of hearts. And these two will go heads up to the flop. It is king, ace, ace. No pocket aces. I was wondering where the aces were. Cajolet still leads with the 9-7. And they both check it to the turn. Turn card is a queen. Miller, first to act, loads up and fires 4,500.
Remember, it doesn't matter what your cards are. It matters what your opponent's cards are.
And Cajolet doesn't like his and folds. Good read by Miller to sense weakness in Cajolet. So Miller doing what he has to do to be a contender in this tournament. The 21-year-old is living a dream right now, for real. How many of his peers call the Commerce Casino home?
The very first day I sat foot in here, I knew that I was going to be somehow in this place a lot. It's the poker capital of the world. It really is.
This guy's the new superstar of poker right here. Devin Miller.
I never thought I'd actually live here. It's tough to live a normal life in a hotel. It really is. I do apologize for the mess, but I woke up really late and the maids only come like a certain amount of time.
In Devin Miller's case, youth is truly being served.
My daily routine consists of either check calling or raising. I play poker probably more than anybody. One bet on the river is as much as I make in an entire day. Coming from a kid that was bagging groceries making $8 an hour, the sky's the limit. If you find the right group of players, I mean, you could walk out with a new Ferrari, you could drop off a Ferrari. Same goes both ways. A lot of kids go to college, a lot of kids are going to go out and have a career. I kind of made the decision that I'm going to sacrifice my youth and fun for money.
I gotta win chips tomorrow as fast as possible.
Right now, poker is so good, and the money is so good that I'm making, I feel obligated to just stay and play as long as I can. When will I give it up? I mean, I'd like to say tomorrow. I'd like to win $2 million tonight, and I can give it up tomorrow. Poker is going to be in me forever. I'll always play poker. I'll take more vacations.
Devin's making so much money, he really could afford to hire a personal valet. I'm available. I just need NFL Sundays off.
Miller and Cajolet hooked up again. Miller made an initial raise. He was re-raised by Eric Cajolet. And now Devin Miller is coming back over the top of that and making it $25,000 more for Cajolet to play.
Miller loves playing the role of the bully. And when they were down to the final two tables at the Aruba Poker Classic that Miller won last month, he knocked out 16 of the remaining 17 players. He can really go on a tear.
Cajolet with the advantage with the queen 8 suited.
And if you're Cajolet here, I mean, you get tired of the same guy coming over the top of you every time you're in a pot, and you want to take a stand, but queen 8 isn't much of a hand to take a stand on.
And Miller has been showing some big cards.
Well, he's clamming up right here, trying to show Cajolet absolutely nothing in his face.
Eric Cajolet tees him up and kicks him in. Not willing to risk $25,000 more with his cards. Devin Miller with a bold move takes the pot.
Not as bad as 2-7, I guarantee that.
Oh, that'll make TV.
Every once in a while I have a real hand.
Every once in a while would not include that time.
All right, from the arena to the featured table inside the Taj Poker Room. Tournament officials will be filling a couple of empty seats here.
Is he in 2 or 3?
Hey, he's Swedish. The guy is wearing a Sweden jacket. We actually might have a Swede here.
You got some competition for the Northern Europe section.
Must be talking about ABBA's biggest fan, Akio Ishigi.
Maybe he's just a fan of Sweden.
Who on earth would be a fan of Sweden?
Ladies and gentlemen, Finland's next ambassador to Sweden, Thomas Walrus. Shane Schlager first to act with his leading chip stack at this table. He has ace jack offsuit, makes it 5,200. Ambassador Walrus is next. Suited 5-3.
Some guys wait around for pocket kings. I think Walrus gets stoked by suited 5-3.
And he makes a call, a 4-deuce for Syracuse Chris. Is he thinking about it? Just getting camera time, I guess. All right, he'll fold and heads up Walrus and Schlager. Schlager with that ace and the advantage. And here we go to the flop. It is 9-8 ace rainbow. Schlager pairs his ace.
Walrus checks, he got nothing.
Schlager check. Now the turn is a king. Walrus a step closer to his goal, now with 4 clubs to a flush. And he's going to bet it 7,000.
Semi-bluff from Walrus. Shane might think of popping him right here. See where he stands.
Just a call.
He's again playing those aces quite softly.
Now the river card. Schlager with the advantage. The queen gives Schlager the check mark.
Walrus missed his flush.
So he's reaching for chips, and he makes it 14,000.
Well, plan A for Walrus was to bluff Shane out on the turn, and then plan B for him was to make the flush on the river. So now he's up to plan C, which is to bluff at it once again.
Now Shane taking his time.
But the problem is that Walrus hadn't bet pre-flop or flop, so Shane really can't put him on much of a hand.
But he's still worried about the thin. And makes the call.
Ace Jack.
Ace Jack is a monster.
Ace Jack wins the pot. Shane Schlager over 200,000 chips. And with that, in the Swedish jacket, Akio Ishigi, whom we saw triple up earlier, will join this table.
Are you from Sweden?
Almost.
Almost. I guess he's from that small island off the coast of Sweden where the Ishigis live.
And more firepower headed that way. One-time tournament chip leader Eric Crane will join the featured table in the Taj Poker Room when we come back.
Okay, cool. The other team.
Welcome back to Atlantic City, and I love how poker brings people together, Norman.
My name is Thomas, by the way. Nice
Thomas?
to meet you.
Eric.
Nice to meet you.
You know, we didn't shake hands when we first met, Lon.
I was hoping for a hug.
I didn't think it was St. Louis or anything.
No. Pretty much the lone European out here right now. I think the only European in this room.
Really?
It's a Shigi.
I saw his Sweden jacket. I thought he was Swedish, but apparently not. I mean, he looks pretty Swedish, though.
All right, with the UN Security Council adjourned, we can get back to poker. Jim D'Ambrosio, a nightclub owner from Chicago, wants to move all in.
How much?
10.
Last 10,000.
That's a pittance for Schlager.
Queen 10 for D'Ambrosio.
You have a better hand than me. But I call.
Schlager is going to make the call with King 5.
What do you have? You got me beat right now.
What? I call.
Good call.
So D'Ambrosio's been a bit card dead, found the Queen 10, moved all in for his last 10,000.
I'm all in, Kevin. Behind.
Kevin gets the update.
Pretty close.
Schlager with a slight advantage going to the flop. D'Ambrosio all in, and he gets a pair of 10s.
Shouldn't D'Ambrosio now turn around and tell Kevin he's all in and ahead?
Kevin's going to have to figure it out for himself. Turn card is a 9, no help to
I'm a
Schlager.
nice guy. Let me stay with you gentlemen a while.
Well, he will be staying with us for a while if Schlager does not hit a king on the river.
River card is an 8, and D'Ambrosio can sit back down. He did survive his all-in and doubled through Shane Schlager.
On a down note, Lon, I don't think Kevin was all that interested in D'Ambrosio's all-in.
Shane drops below the 200,000 chip mark after losing that hand, and D'Ambrosio will get to sit and play a little while longer at this table with 24,000 chips suddenly in front of him. So from the Taj Poker Room to the arena, and we see Eric Cajolet with pocket kings and making a raise of up to 3,800. Cajolet looking for something to happen. He has been having a lot of trouble at this table so far today. Action over to Bernard Lee with an ace.
Could be pocket aces again.
Does he have 2? No. Squeezes out a 5. Ace 5 go into the muck.
Are those stripes or are those stripes? And then Dylan Membrino there next to him, dressed in camouflage in case he goes out into the jungle here in Atlantic City.
Some people call this whole town a jungle. He says raise. He's got the pocket aces.
See, there's 6 of them in the deck.
We were wondering where they were. Now over to Vasquez with a raise and a re-raise, and friends got ace-king.
Well, the aces are gone. The kings are almost gone. Ace-king's a great hand, usually.
Wow, he gives it up. Santoro folds, and so Cajolet with a re-raise back to him.
About 55 or 60. He just won.
It's a count on Membrino's stack.
I'm all in.
He's all call.
All in and a call. Fireworks again between aces and kings. Cajolet coming up short with his kings. Dylan Membrino with his tournament life on the line has the aces.
The bad news for Membrino, all the aces are gone unless there are 6 in the deck. But the good news, only 1 king left for Cajolet to catch.
Here we go to the flop. Jack, queen, 3, 2 hearts. Membrino has the ace of hearts.
Cajolet still looking for that king, or now he can make a runner-runner king-high straight to knock out Membrino. He can make a runner-runner king-high straight to knock out Membrino.
Membrino just looking to avoid bad luck. Turn card now is an 8 of clubs. No help to Cajolet.
Membrino still in good shape. Membrino, a Drexel University student, plays in Atlantic City nights and weekends, and he will be good here unless Cajolet gets the final king in the deck.
River card is the 4 of hearts, and Membrino survives with his aces, getting healthy in a hurry, while Eric Cajolet loses about a third of his stack. His pocket king's getting run over.
I don't know how Cajolet still has that many chips left. Every time we look up, he's getting run over.
Membrino finds aces just in time. He'll hang around a little while. Welcome back to Atlantic City. 5 players limped in at the feature table here at the Trump Taj Mahal. No pocket pair. Ishigi and King each have an ace, and these 5 players wait for the flop.
5 players, no pairs. Get me into the game, Lon. Stake me the 10 grand.
The flop is 7, deuce, 8. Schlager got the best of it, pairing his 8 for the lead. Syracuse Chris and Jeff King checked. Now Schlager with the leading pair of 8s. It's going to make it 3,400 to stay in the hand.
And Shane sometimes uses that two-handed betting action, which I think is bad technique. At poker clinics, I always tell the kids to just use one hand to bet each and every time.
You're doing poker clinics? Ishigi with middle pair and top kicker folded to Eric Crane, who got bottom pair. He makes the call. Syracuse Chris folds. And Jeff King gets out of the way. So we're left with the 2 top stacks at this table, Eric Crane and Shane Schlager. Schlager with the advantage.
And they're both loose cannons.
9 of diamonds on the turn keeps Crane second best.
10,000.
He's going to make it 10,000, though.
No, it looks like Crane had called the flop to bluff here on the turn if he got nothing. He got nothing, and he's betting the 10,000.
Schlager wondered about that 10,000, makes the call.
A correct call from Shane. He figures that 9 didn't complete Crane's hand.
Now the river card is a 10 of diamonds. Schlager earns the check mark. It's Crane first to act.
Here comes my boy. Maybe not.
17,000.
Yes.
Wow, there he comes. Yeah, he's acting like he's got the nuts. There is a straight draw on the board, 17,000.
Sure, let him bluff off the rest of his chips. But no, it's a good bet. You know, if I'm sitting across from Eric, I might think he was semi-bluffing on the turn with maybe a straight draw, and now it's possible he got there. So I don't know if I could call with just a pair of 8s.
Man, if it wasn't you.
I don't know what that means.
Just if it wasn't you.
He calls it.
A pair of 8s.
Wow, good call.
Very good call from Shane Schlager.
Like he knew what Crane had.
I'm going to have to block you from my blog now.
His next post, how not to play offsuit 4 deuce.
If it wasn't you. I know you like to play, so.
What a read by Shane. That is one reason why he is a player to watch very carefully in the coming years.
I like to think of myself as somewhat of a creative player, pretty aggressive and loose. It's actually a fine line between being aggressive and too aggressive. And I try to use that to my advantage, too. My goal in tournaments is usually just to chip up, build up my stack with small pots, take advantage of players who are too tight and aren't really willing to make moves on you. And then against good players later on in the tournament, use that image to get them in with a good hand and, you know, pick up a lot of chips.
It's the Schlager and Crane show again.
You and I haven't even played all that much together.
No, but just a little bit. That first impression you made in Tahoe sticks with me.
10-7 hand?
Yeah, whatever it was, yeah, just how you played.
Crane leads with ace-10 against the king-10. It is 10-3-3 on the flop. Both pair their 10, but Crane leads with his ace-kicker. He made it 6,000, and Schlager called.
That two-fisted betting style is going to catch up with Shane, trust me.
Turn card now is a king, and Schlager hits the king to take the lead.
All right, Shane, we'll just be friendly.
Check, check.
Check, check to the river. River card is a 6, and Schlager gets the check mark. He's first to act. Single-handedly throws in 14,000 chips.
He figures his king's up or good now.
Shane, somehow I think he called the flop with like ace-king or something. It was just brutal. I play so bad sometimes. Most of the time.
No, just sometimes. Don't do it, Eric. You know I'm with you.
From it, buddy.
He calls.
Oh, wow.
And loses.
Wow.
So far, Schlager has Crane's number at this feature table.
Buck up, son. Loser's mope. Move ahead. You can win.
That's cool.
Yeah, I know.
right, let's move to the outer tables where we find Michael DiMichele. He has called Vincent Procopio's all-in. DiMichele has aces to Procopio's tens, and aces on the turn and river give DiMichele quads, and that will send Procopio home empty-handed.
We've reached a point of the tournament where the short stacks don't want to be blinded off, so if you have any type of hand, you just push and pray.
I was short stacked anyway. I've been playing short all day. You know, I had to make a move. It was time to either make a move and accumulate some chips or go home. Time to go home. It's poker.
Michael DiMichele hovered under 100,000 chips for a long time. Now he's becoming a real player. Welcome back to Atlantic City. Mike Santoro, Karate Mike, enjoying the view from above. His 302,000 chips leads everyone in the house. He will fold, but Devin Miller will play as usual. 9-7 suited. He limps in from the small blind, as does Eric Cagelet with 9-7.
If these two hook up anymore, they'll have to drive to Las Vegas and make it official.
The flop is 5-5-6. Both pick up straight draws. Miller with a diamond flush draw. Miller checks. And now Cagelet bets 1,600.
Tiny bluff bet. And Miller's not going to go anywhere because he's got a better draw than Cagelet.
An easy call for Miller, and these two will go to the turn card. It is an 8. Both hit their straights. Miller also with the flush draw, though.
Straight flush draw. And this is ridiculous, Lon, because Cagelet cannot get the better of Miller, and right now he's got to believe he's in the catbird seat. He hit the straight.
Miller bet 4,000 to Cagelet. And now Cagelet is going to come back over the top. He makes it 16,000.
Understandably.
I'm all in.
Come.
An all-in and a call, and this is our degree all-in moment.
Free rolling, baby. Free rolling.
Cagelet's tournament life on the line, and he's the only one that could lose the hand.
Devin Miller's whole life seems like a free roll.
Demented players at this table.
Looking for a diamond right now to knock out Cagelet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will be a split pot.
Cagelet's been knocked around all day. Finally, from the big blind, it looked like he's going to get lucky, but now a diamond would make him very unlucky.
And the river is a king of spades, and Cagelet survives his all-in, and both players get the degree check mark with the split pot.
Yeah, usually it's not.
Hold on.
That took a toll on both players.
The Degree All-In moment is brought to you by Degree. Protects men who take risks.
From the arena to the Taj Poker Room, where two of the top stacks are butting heads, Alex Jacob naturally has aces against the tens of Greg Baird.
Again?
Jacob, at 160,000 chips, moved all in. He was called. Jacob survives the flop and the turn. One card to come. It is an 8 that does nothing for Baird, and Alex Jacob has doubled up through Greg Baird. And Jacob now joins Mike Santoro as the only two players over 300,000 chips. Jacob is our tournament leader at 320,000.
So the ever-popular pocket aces show up at the best possible moment for Alex Jacob. He's having a little trouble stacking up his chips. Greg Baird doesn't have that trouble right now, and it's a good problem for Alex Jacob to have to take care of.
So a great boon for Alex Jacob at the outer tables. Back to the featured table here in the Taj Poker Room. Action on Jim D'Ambrosio, and he's reaching for the glasses.
And frankly, I don't even think those are his glasses. I think he has stolen Daryl Ozias' glasses.
Ah, that's why he moved all in.
All in.
And what's the point of putting on sunglasses when you're going all in? Be a man, face the music where we can see the whites of your eyes.
I call.
Ace-Jack at 18,000, and that's called by Shane Schlager with pocket sevens. So D'Ambrosio at risk, but more action at the table. Ace-King for Akio Ishigi.
Now, Ishigi knows that Shane has so many chips, he could call that small all-in with mediocre cards, so he might push with that Ace-King. Of course, we know Shane has a legitimate hand here.
Ishigi does move all in.
Think I'm ahead.
D'Ambrosio not happy about that. So now action folding behind Ishigi back to Shane Schlager.
Shane has the best hand, and if he calls here, he's got the opportunity to knock out two players.
I call.
Schlager does call, and pocket sevens stand tall. Let's see if they'll hold up and knock off two players.
I think this is going to be two jacks on the flop.
Wishful thinking perhaps from D'Ambrosio.
Oh, that's not good. 2 outs, dodge all kinds of stuff.
He's the one furthest out on the edge. D'Ambrosio and Ishigi both at risk here for their tournament.
That's as good a spot as I can hope for.
All right, here we go to the flop. It is a king. Ishigi takes the lead with his king.
D'Ambrosio has picked up a straight draw. He's calling for a queen.
Ishigi's sitting pretty right now. The turn card is a 4 of clubs. Ishigi still best. D'Ambrosio 1 card from elimination.
D'Ambrosio needs a queen or he is gone. Schlegel needs a 7 to knock out Ishigi.
And now the river card, it's a 3, and Ishigi, who made a gutsy all-in raise, gets paid off almost in triplicate in that 3-way hand.
And Schlegel ponders the lost chance to knock off 2 players.
Jim D'Ambrosio says his farewells as his USPC has come to an end. And what a day for Ishigi. He has come a long way and sits with 112,000 chips now. So as this portion of our coverage comes to a close, we see Alex Jacob and Mike Santoro separating themselves from the rest of the field, setting themselves up as the players to beat. 48 are left. Only 27 will get paid. We'll find out who finishes in the money in our next show. For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. Join us again next time from Atlantic City in the U.S. Poker Championship.